everyone, it's TheTidesChanging here, and welcome to another Sims 4 speed build. Today I'm sharing another house that I made for Newcrest, and this one was supposed to be under 35,000 simoleons, but I'm not that great with budget, so that of course didn't happen, and it ended up being about 45,000, which isn't too bad. That's still pretty cheap for a house, and it's also less than Beach Cottage was. So it is still something that's between the cost of the starter homes that are in this neighborhood and Beach Cottage. It is also 3 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms, so you could fit a nice sized family in here. Honestly, the shape of this house is a little bit plain. It's a bit boxy, especially considering it's literally 2 rectangles stuck together, but I figured keeping the look of it simple would be a good way to keep the price down, because when I try making the shape more complex, I tend to make the houses cost a little bit more than I mean for them to. Although this house did end up being more expensive than I meant for it to, but it's not as bad as Beach Cottage, which was supposed to be 35,000 simoleons also, but ended up being almost double that, so it worked out a lot better with this house. But despite this house being a bit boxy, I still tried to make it look as nice as possible, and it does end up looking pretty nice in the end. And it's also pretty realistic since a lot of suburban houses are kind of boxy looking. I do have another house for Newcrest that I've already finished, and that one's quite a bit more complex than this one. That house was, I think it was around 120,000 simoleons, so it's a lot more expensive than this one is. I actually finished this build and that one all in one weekend, which is unusual for me because usually I work on builds in bits over a week or so, but I finished them a couple weekends ago. It was when that blizzard hit the eastern part of the United States, because I got snowed in from that, and something about being snowed in made me really want to build, so I finished this house in one night, and then the next day I started on the other house and then finished that all in one day. But the reason why I didn't upload the speed build for this house and the other one that I finished right after uploading the last speed build that I did was because, as I mentioned in an update video that I put up last week, I started a new full-time job this week, so I'm not gonna have as much time to build, and I was really worried about going months without having a speed build up, so having those 2 builds finished already made it so that I don't have to worry about that, and I have a couple builds that I can space out. Plus, I still do have to do the commentary and the fly-through, and doing that does take time. But I'll probably get the speed build for the other house up in a couple weeks, and I am really excited to share that one because I really do like how that one turned out. And in addition to finishing these 2 builds, I also started on a 3rd one last weekend, and that build is a community pool. And it's going to be a modern community pool, so it'll be a nice break from the traditionals for those of you who might be getting a little bit sick of the traditional builds, because well, I did have the cafe that was a modern build, but apart from that, it's been a little while since I've done a modern build. But yeah, that pool I made to replace the one that comes in Windenburg, and the reason why I decided to make a pool instead of, say, a discotheque is because I've actually gotten more requests to make a new community pool than a discotheque, and also there aren't as many community pools. I thought it'd be a fun challenge to make a new one, and I really like how that's coming along so far. But it is a pretty large build, so that's one that's gonna take me a little while to finish, but I'm hoping that I'll finish that build in time to have the speed build for that up a couple weeks after the speed build for the other house that I've been mentioning in this video. But we're on to the interior right now, and I actually didn't do the backyard before moving inside, and that was just because I wanted to get a feel for how much the inside would cost before furnishing the backyard, so I didn't spend a bunch of money on landscaping and then make the house way too expensive. The room I'm working on right now is a living room, and I wanted to use those curtains that came with movie hangout stuff because I really do like them, and I actually did use them in one of the more fun colorings they come in this house. I think I just ended up using them in the more bold colors in the dining room, and then I think I just stuck with a simpler color in the living room, although I do change it around quite a bit. As I said, I finished this a couple weeks ago, so I don't quite remember like the sequence of everything that I did. But those of you who did watch that update video I put up last week would have gotten a little bit of a sneak peek of this build. I think it was right around this part that I included in that video, just because I thought that'd be something more fun to have in the background than just an image. But anyway, I thought it'd be a nice decorative touch to have a table with a mirror above it behind the dining table. And I probably could have kept the cost of the house down if I got rid of, or if I didn't put in some of the unnecessary decorative items that I included. But I have this thing where even when I'm working on a house where I'm not just building without caring about the amount of money I spend at all, I still like it to look nice. Like, even though it's a house that's built with a certain amount of, with a certain budget in mind, I didn't want it to look very bland, so I just spent some money on decorative items that aren't really necessary. But if you did want to have this house for a little bit cheaper, you could always just get rid of some of that. I believe the dining room's just about done at this point, though. As you can see, I did use the more bold colored curtains there, although that's not the color I end up keeping there, I believe. And at first in the kitchen, I had just the half wall separating it from the dining area, but something about that didn't really look that great to me. So I do end up just replacing that with walls. I think that looks so much better than how I have it now. To keep the cost down, I did of course use the cheapest counters, cabinets, and appliances. Here was where I went and replaced the half walls with the regular walls, which definitely looked a lot better. I mean, usually I'm all for making things more open, but I think for this house, closing things off did make it look better. Here I was thinking maybe it'd be better to have the rug be bold and then the curtains be more plain. But then I just stuck with the bolder curtains, which I do really like. I've definitely been wanting curtains with patterns on them. And if I remember correctly, that is actually the pattern that I ended up keeping for the curtains. And I decided to just use a different kind of wall paint color in the kitchen, especially since now it is a more separate room, just going through and adding a few decorations. And I was careful not to use too much, because of course, didn't want this house to end up too expensive, but I did add in some pricier things, like the cookbooks that came with cool kitchen stuff, and I also think I put in the drying rack that came with it as well. Yeah, here's where I was searching for just cool kitchen stuff and adding a few of those things in. I really like the items that came with that stuff pack, but they're not good for houses like this because most of the items are pretty pricey. I think they're around, a lot of them around 200 or 300 simoleons each, if not more. But I believe that's it for the kitchen, so now I'm moving back out to the living room area. I was trying to figure out something cheap to put near the door there, so I just used one of those by Debug paintings because they look nice. They're also pretty cheap, I believe around 100 or so simoleons. And they will actually download with a lot. I've tested that a few different times. Now I'm just getting the TV in with the couch in front of it. I was debating whether or not to go with the bold curtains in the living room, but I do end up just keeping them more plain. And the living room has quite a different color scheme than the dining room, because in the dining room you have those pink curtains, and then I ended up using this rug in the living room, which doesn't really go together when you look at it, when you look at both the rooms together, but when you kind of zoom in on each room separately, it looks fine, so I just stuck with it anyway. I really do like how this living room turned out, and I see the furnishing style in this area as more of a youthful kind of a style, so if you didn't want to use this as a family home, I think it would also be perfect as a house for roommates, so you could just convert the kids' bedroom to another adult bedroom or whatever you want to do, but that's just what came to mind for me as I was furnishing this. Now I'm on to the bathroom, and even though it probably wasted money, I did put those walls in to make the shower look built in. I just have this thing where I really like showers and tubs to look built in, so I always tend to put walls around them. And if you've watched quite a few of my speed builds, that's something you've probably noticed. I also really like how the color scheme in this bathroom turned out. I used a combination of flooring wallpaper that I really haven't tried before. So I used the Spa Day flooring with this tiled wallpaper, and I feel like it goes together really well. And then I also put black accents in throughout the bathroom to tie in with the flooring. And I like that color scheme so much that I ended up using it for the master bathroom as well. And I'm pretty sure right after finishing that bathroom, I just went right to working on the master bathroom because I just like how it turned out, and I just wanted to go ahead and just do the same thing for that bathroom and finish both the bathrooms off before starting on the master bedroom. So this bathroom, of course, came together pretty quickly. I just stuck the same things, pretty much the same things in it that I put in the other bathroom. That's just about it for this bathroom, and I had this weird issue where putting wallpaper on the walls in this bathroom would delete stuff all the way in the living room. I don't know why I was deleting things all the way across the house, but I ended up getting it sorted out. I think it was even deleting stuff when I had the move objects cheat off. And then oddly enough, when I put the full tile wall behind the shower in the hall bathroom, it didn't delete the stuff in the living room, even though it's closer, which makes perfect sense. But anyway, we're on to the master bathroom right now, and I did use some more of the movie hangout stuff in here, because this was the first, this was the first house I made after that came out, so I just had a lot of fun using that stuff all over the place. And speaking of stuff packs, we're getting another one already, which I think was called Romantic Garden Stuff or something like that. And it seems kind of soon for another one to be coming out because I think the last one came out 2 or 3 weeks ago. So I guess if it came out 3 weeks ago, then that means that this one will be coming out 4 weeks after the last one. So I guess that's the right timing, but it just seems really quick to me. The stuff pack does seem like it might be kind of nice though, and I'm interested to see what all's included with it. I did see that it looks like it comes with some new flowers for landscaping, which is always a good thing because we haven't gotten any new ones in a while. But now we're on to the teen bedroom. I thought about using one of the movie hangout rug once again, but with the pattern on the bed, I felt like it was too many patterns going on, so I just decided to go with a more plain rug. And the color scheme in this bedroom is turquoise and gray. It was a pretty simple room. I finished this bedroom and the kids one pretty quickly because they were very small bedrooms, so it didn't take too long to put them together, of course. And I'm already on to the other side of the room, getting a desk in, and I probably spend more money on decorations in this room than I should have, but I just really like sticking posters all over the walls in teen bedrooms, so yeah, I just stuck a bunch of them all over the place. They are pretty cheap though, so I don't think I end up spending too much money in here. There isn't really anything too special about this bedroom. I just made it sort of generic, so it'll work for whatever kind of sim you have. You probably just replace, I think I stuck a hamper in the corner near the door, so if your sim has a particular skill that they're interested in, you could always replace that hamper with, say, a guitar, or I guess that's about all you really will be able to fit in there. You won't be able to fit an easel or anything like that, but yeah, you could definitely customize it a bit for whatever sim you'd want to have in this room. And that's about it for that room, so now I'm on to the kids' bedroom, and once again I kept this one pretty simple and generic. For this bedroom I went with an orange color scheme, and I just put this one together really quickly because I did build this whole house in, I built this whole house in one sitting, so at this point I just wanted to be done with the interior and move on to the exterior to finish up the backyard. So I just went with all of the matching furniture and made it really easy on myself to finish up this room. I also stuck a few posters around the place. I think I get rid of some of them though because I was worried that the room was becoming a little bit too cramped. And that's actually about all the furniture that I was able to fit in here because this is a very small room. There wasn't even space for a desk, so pretty much the dresser, bed, and nightstand is about all that could really fit in here. I may have been able to squeeze in a toy box, but I didn't end up putting one in. I think that rug was the last thing that I put in here though, so we're about to move on to finishing up the backyard. I did keep the backyard pretty simple because I realized that I spent more money on the inside than I needed to, but I did splurge on the hanging lantern tree because I thought that'd be a really nice touch for this backyard, really nice way to light it, and I just really like that tree. I ended up moving it over to the other side of the yard because that was where I put a set of tables and chairs, so I thought that would make a lot more sense to have it near that and to have it like the eating area for your sim, so that just worked out perfectly. Yeah, so here I'm getting in a nice patio area as well as a set of tables and chairs, and there wasn't too much else that I put in the backyard, although I did actually finish the house. Now that I remember, I did finish the house and then I went in the next day because I just wasn't completely happy with how the outside looked. And I spent a couple thousand more simoleons putting a hedge fence around the backyard and also adding flower boxes. I think at this point the house was around 43,000. I figured, well, I went 8,000 above what I meant to, so what's another 2,000? And plus I just really wanted to be proud or more proud of how the house looked from the outside. And adding in the flower boxes and the fencing just really helped so much with how it looked. Oh, and another thing that I did was I put in another bit of roof above the door because I just felt like it could use a little bit more pizzazz when you look at the house from the front. So that was another thing that really helped to make this house look a bit less simple than it did. That's all I wanted to say about this house, so I'm going to leave up here, and I hope you enjoyed the rest of this video.